massive breaking news reaching us here this evening, because it's our understanding tonight that Alisher Usmanov has launched a £1 billion bid, $1.3 billion bid, to buy out his rival Stan Kronke's stake at Arsenal. Now, for more on this developing story, we're joined by our chief news reporter, Brian Swanson, on set. Usmanov's been in the background for a while, Brian, but my goodness, he's back, and how tonight on the eve of the final Premier League match of the season. So what do we know? Confirmation of this tonight.
All the attention was on Arsene Wenger and his future, but here, left field out of nowhere, came the news initially in the Financial Times newspaper that we have since independently verified through our own sources that yes, Alisher Usmanov has made that massive bid to take control of Stan Kronke's lion's share at the club. The valuation around $1.3 billion US, that's over £1 billion. Usmanov and Arsenal have yet to confirm this. Interestingly to note, though, there's not been a rush of denials from the club either. Let's take a look, though, at how the breakdown of the club in terms of the ownership, just to tell people at home just how significant this is. When you look at the breakdown there, Stan Kronke, just over 67% ownership from him. Alisher Usmanov currently at just over 30%. He wants to make that the big share. He wants to take full control of the club. At the moment, remaining shareholders account for just under 3%. Stan Kronke, we're told, has yet to formally respond to this offer on the table, an offer that was made a couple of weeks ago, but the expectation is that he will reject it. But this is a signal of intent from Alisher Usmanov. For so long, many Arsenal supporters have wondered just when he would make this move. He has now made it. He wants the club. He wants it outright. We're just waiting to see whether Kronke does, as expected, formally reject this offer.
Well, it's a very, in business terms, I suppose, Brian, it's a very aggressive bid. So this would be for the 67% that Kronke has, and Usmanov has manoeuvred and moved for that precisely, which would value the club at around $2 billion.
Absolutely. Arsenal often referred to as something of a cash cow in terms of Premier League clubs. It generates a lot of money. It is worth a considerable amount of money. Alisher Usmanov, someone who does attend games when he can. He's someone who has been on a bit of a collision course, particularly when it comes to Stan Kronke in recent months and in recent years. It reminds you a little bit of a game of chess, this. It's almost who blinks first. And Usmanov has crept towards that threshold for so long. Now he's made his move. What a move it is. It's a big move. $1.3 billion over £1 billion. Interesting to hear what Arsenal have to say about this, if anything, because all the attention and all the focus has been on matters concerning Arsene Wenger and his future. We know that there is an Arsenal board meeting after that FA Cup final, so that's where everything will become a lot clearer.
Yes, indeed. We know that these two, Kronke and Usmanov, are two real heavyweights in the business world, in global terms, of course, Brian, but they've clashed in the past over the direction of the football club. I think Usmanov has been concerned by an apparent lack of investment by Kronke. In other words, that Kronke should have been making funds available to Wenger to buy better players.
Absolutely, and Alisher Usmanov has spoken quite passionately about this in the past. He's come out and said that he wants to see changes at the club. You sensed a growing sense of frustration from his side over this, and that's why this move has now been made. He feels clearly that the time is right to take overall control of Arsenal, to get that 30% and absolutely go towards, 97, 98% ownership of the club. A huge statement of intent by him. The interesting thing here, though, is that we do understand this bid did go in a couple of weeks ago, and that's why the expectation from sources close to this say that the expectation is that Kronke will reject it, because quite simply he sees the huge value of Arsenal Football Club, and they continue to make an awful lot of money out of it.
OK, we'll watch for what happens next. In the meantime, Brian, confirmation of it, and that's what we wanted. In the meantime, thanks.